Western and Southern has always been a trusted partner, focused on protecting families for life. Put the strength and stability of Western and Southern behind you. Go to westernsouthern.com to learn more.
Now my favorite topic.
We've been taking questions.
Yes.
And the people wanted to know about Terry McLaurin.
They did. It was just a general,
Did you ask that? Was this your burner?
It wasn't. No, it's not my burner. Though I might have to resort to that, over time. We'll see. Terry McLaurin is legit.
Yeah, he's really good.
So we exactly what we predicted would happen happened in the case Keenum regressed all the way back.
Oh, he regressed hard.
Yeah. Regressed hard. Bunch of interceptions, bunch of terrible plays, turnover-worthy plays all over the shop. This was what was coming. If you listen to the show, which obviously you do, we said this was coming. He made a bunch of turnover-worthy plays that just weren't punished yet. Going up against that Chicago defense, this was kind of inevitable. But despite that, Terry McLaurin catches 6 of 8 targets for 70 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown was a really nice play. He sets up his man, gets inside leverage, then makes a really tight contested catch, holds onto it in such a way knowing that he was heading towards the ground face first. You know what I mean? That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
Your automatic instinct is things go wrong when you are falling from a height face first into the turf, and yet he was able to hold onto the ball, maintain possession. He's now got a touchdown in every single game. He's got 5 or more catches in every single game, and he's got 50 or 60 or more yards in every single game. That was the kind of streak that Antonio Brown went on forever until it finally got broken when Roethlisberger went down and Landry Jones became the quarterback.
He's kind of showing up every week.
Right. It was that just permanent, consistent production that every single week he's the guy. And he's unquestionably their number one receiver right now, and teams are still not able to slow him down.
You know what I like? So from a grade standpoint, he's number 8 in the NFL, 82.9, and he has 3 drops on 24 targets.
Right.
Usually if you have that many drops, it's like, all right, that's going to crush your grade. So he's so efficient elsewhere, tied for 5th with 13 first downs/touchdowns, has the 3 drops, but still has a passer rating of 141.8 when targeted.
Right.
And he's been so efficient on his other plays that he's grading well.
Yeah. I mean, I think whatever about how the season looks like it's going, given what just happened, but you should be really excited about him. I mean, he looks absolutely legitimate. Case Keenum's passer rating is 40 points higher than his overall passer rating when targeting McLaurin, which means it's significantly higher than even that when targeting anybody other than McLaurin. I haven't done that math, but let's just say it's 40 points higher than his overall passer rating, which is huge.
Yeah, it's a huge upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So you love McLaurin.
I love McLaurin. I think this Ohio State system causes guys like him to get completely underrated, right?
Him and Michael Thomas.
Yeah. Him and Michael Thomas. It overrates the other guy. So they have a system that sort of has this gadget receiver.
I got you. Yeah.
That looks spectacular because he gets all the jet sweep plays, all the kind of dink short stuff that puts those guys in space, makes them or helps them take advantage of their athleticism and their run after the catch ability. So Parrish Campbell was the guy everybody loved because he goes to the combine, he runs a 4.3, he made all these spectacular plays, and when you turn on his tape and watch his targets, he legitimately didn't run a wide receiver right at all. And when he did, it looked horrendous.
Right.
He looked like he was counting the steps as he was running. It looked terrible. But everybody was really excited about him because of what that system made him look like. Plus the 4.3 speed, obviously. But then the other guy kind of gets overlooked because the star becomes that gadget player, and the guy that's just playing wide receiver kind of gets a little bit cast into the shadow, doesn't get as many targets as he should. So Michael Thomas came out and was dramatically underrated, was a first-round talent, went in the second round. Terry McLaurin comes out, I think was a first-round talent, went in the third round. I was telling you through the Senior Bowl, this guy was the most impressive player at the Senior Bowl, kept making plays no matter who he was up against. I thought he looked as good as a lot of the first-round players, and yet drops. So I think people should start paying attention to that system and looking at the wide receiver that's playing the position that gets overlooked.
Well, I think the way we isolated Michael Thomas is we started, for those couple of years, really tracking route running, away from the ball, and really isolating on that. And Michael Thomas was spectacular there, and McLaurin really caught our eye at the Senior Bowl when he had a bunch of one-on-ones, and you got to see how he runs routes, which, again, we keep coming back to. Route running and the ability to get open, that is the thing in the NFL. So that's how McLaurin's doing it right now. Okay, so let's just answer that Panthers question really quick. The question was, who are they better off with at quarterback? Cam Newton, Kyle Allen, or Will Grier? This is a tough one. Do you have an answer?
Kyle Allen or Will Grier?
I mean, Cam Newton, Kyle Allen,
or Will Grier. It's kind of going to sort itself out, right? Because it sounds like Cam Newton is dealing with a Liz Frank injury.
Yeah, but
just going to put him out for a serious period of time.
Yeah. I mean,
at that point, you will have a better idea of what exactly Kyle Allen is. Right now, he looked spectacular coming out of that game.
He looked really good.
He was really accurate, which is the single biggest thing that Cam Newton isn't. But I think it also just sort of showed how much of a drag factor Cam had become on that offense when he's not playing well. So Kyle Allen played well, looked really good, but we don't know if that's going to continue. So then I think by the time Cam Newton's ready to get back, we'll have an idea of whether Kyle Allen is a legitimate threat to him. And then Will Grier honestly looked so bad in preseason and the Senior Bowl that I think it's long-term development time for him.
Yeah, so he definitely looked poor. I mean, I just look at it the same way we look at the Steelers thing. It might not be good for this year, but having a long look at Kyle Allen or eventually Will Grier, if he does get in there, will help you understand some stuff, have some extra trade value. I don't know that Kyle Allen's going to have to go on a serious run.
Right.
To at the end of the year be like, it's a Kyle Allen or Cam Newton. I think it's Cam Newton. I think the Panthers are at this point where they have to start thinking, draft the next quarterback or look for the next quarterback, and Kyle Allen, you get to evaluate him.
The more interesting question around Cam to me is, should he take like a year sabbatical? Say, look, if I want to
incognito style?
Right, if I actually want to play deep into my career, I need to take an entire year off, get 100% healthy, and come back like actually in the same condition that I should be playing in, as opposed to, sure, I can get back from this Liv Frank injury, play another few weeks, not 100%. It's just every single year, he's clearly not 100%. And the longer he plays like that, the worse he's playing. I just think you either need a completely clean break or he needs to dramatically modify his playing style.
Interesting theory.
I don't know if it's the way to go, but it's something that probably needs to get discussed, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's that crazy. I would say alter your playing style. Mm-hmm. Maybe just throw a million passes and get that short area accuracy better.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Could do it. All right, let's wrap it up with some Steelers talk. We had multiple questions. What do you think of Mason Rudolph? How much should the Steelers panic? And then a question about Minkah Fitzpatrick. So, and how he played in his debut with the Steelers. So there's actually a lot to unpack here. They also just traded a 5th-round pick for Nick Vannett as a backup tight end.
Yeah, because Vance McDonald rather is hurt.
But they said it's not even necessarily because of him. They're like, hey, we just need better tight end depth. So the 0-3 Steelers are still playing it
right
legit
now,
here.
So Mason Rudolph was really bad last week.
He was not good.
Right now, there's a bunch of teams that are 0-3. The Miami Dolphins could actually have the number 1 and number 2 overall pick.
That's crazy.
If your logic
I think it's early, but...
Oh, it's definitely early. Look, the Steelers are probably going to win some games. They're too talented not to. But that game was a massive indictment of the decision to trade that 1st-round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick. And it had nothing to do with Minkah Fitzpatrick. Regardless of how he played, the PR line that came out, the official party line was... We had a 1st-round grade on Mason Rudolph when he came out. We thought he was a 1st-round quarterback, which isn't absurd because so did we, right? I don't hate that as a concept, but the idea that was the reason. So he's our 1st-round pick next year. We already have him. He's here. He's in the building. We don't need a 1st-round pick next year.
That is the worst reason.
This is our 1st-round pick.
Yeah.
That is horrendous decision-making, right?
Right.
Because, okay, fine, you had a 1st-round grade on him, but look what just happened. So you have no idea if he is the capable starting quarterback going forward. You might need a quarterback. This is the thing, right? We may get to the end of this season, and the ultimate takeaway from the Pittsburgh Steelers is we desperately need a quarterback, probably in the 1st round. And you just traded away that pick to get Minkah Fitzpatrick. So it's just bad.
Let me make a parallel to that, too. Every time Khalil Mack forces a fumble, and Khalil Mack is a great player, you see the tweet, imagine trading Khalil Mack. Imagine how stupid the Raiders are for trading Khalil Mack. Let's set aside what they've done with the picks since that point. But we keep making the point that a pass rusher's value is high, but not as high as other people's other value. And trading Khalil Mack as opposed to paying him is not the craziest thing in the world. Because when you get that first-round pick, it's not about the player necessarily that you get in place of him. It's also what you can do with that. So the value of a first-round pick is so immense. Now you're the Chicago Bears, and if they're honest about their really, really nice roster, they have to say, look, the only thing that might be holding us back is quarterback.
Yeah.
So if they had that assessment the same way the 2017 Jaguars should have been like, look, our defense is really good. We managed Blake Bortles all the way to the AFC Championship. If we upgraded here, that'd be smart. And they waited a year too long. If people were truly getting quarterbacks in the building year over year, the Bears would have had a first-round pick last year. Maybe they're thinking about quarterback and saying that could be our weakness instead of, okay, we have to go all in on Trubisky. You don't have to go all in on anybody in today's NFL. Keep getting quarterbacks.
Well, plus don't limit your options like that, right? Okay, let's say you think, look what the Cardinals did, right? They drafted Josh Rosen in the first round. They were seemingly confident that he could be the guy going forward.
Right.
And then it wasn't even as if they had written him off at the end of last year. Well, maybe it was, but their logic at least is that we took a look. We weren't even looking at quarterbacks. We kept seeing Kyler Murray from other tape, and wow, this guy's special. So, okay, we have a quarterback that we have confidence in, but this guy, he's just an upgrade. He's a generational talent, as they say. These guys don't come along very often, and we have an opportunity to snag him. We have to take it. We can't pass up that opportunity because the position is too important. Now, if you're the Steelers, maybe you did have a first-round grade on Mason Rudolph, but what if you end up in a position with a stupidly high pick next year because things unraveled around him, and suddenly you have a chance at like Tua, and you had him graded way higher? Like that could be a thing. Sure, you might even be happy with Mason Rudolph. Maybe he plays okay the rest of the year, but if you find yourself in a position where you can get a guy that you have graded better, why would you throw that away earlier in the year for a safety?
Here's, I think, the way to look at it when it comes to quarterbacks. In the past, we've said, hey, you drafted Blaine Gabbert in the first round. You drafted Christian Ponder, E.J. Manuel. We look at all these busts and say, LOL, you idiots. You missed on the quarterback. So I want to change the conversation a little bit and say there's value in getting a look at the quarterback. There's value in getting a look at him. Even with the Giants, with Daniel Jones, who we said was a day 2 player, they took him in the first round. There's value, even if we thought he was overdrafted. He looks pretty good so far. There's value in at least getting a look. I think the Steelers played it well. They had Josh Dobbs in. They got a look at him. There was a chance he could have been really good. You know, he ends up being he's a pretty good backup, and then they flipped him. Mason Rudolph's the same guy. Now for the Steelers, no matter what happens with Big Ben, they're going to need a quarterback for the future. There's going to be value in that first-round pick in getting the next quarterback in the building. And
you also don't really have a choice. Like, you have to, if you need a quarterback, you have to take a quarterback. And even if you're not in a great position to do it, you have to swing the bat at something.
Got to keep swinging the bat.
Right. So, okay.
So yeah, having Minka as your first-round pick when you could be a 5-11 team, a 4-12 team, it could look really bad and for them and really good for the Dolphins.
This is like a perfect tank job situation for the Dolphins.
Incredible for the Dolphins. As far as Minka on the field, he had a good, not great grade. Mm-hmm. He had, we just talked about Jamie Collins and all of his, statistical plays.
Yeah.
Minka had a pick and a forced fumble. Yep. Really nice forced fumble on an open field tackle. The pick was tipped right to him. Whatever. That's
also
not really on him.
Got hip tossed spectacularly by Kyle Juszczyk after the catch. Like, he went flying, like airborne. The kind of thing that would happen, if like you tossing a small child is what it looked like. If you snap one day, found a little toddler walking by your feet and just went whoosh. That's basically what happened to Minka.
He missed 2 tackles, so that has been the issue. So Steelers fans, if you want to keep an eye on what needs to improve, so far through a season plus 3 games, he has 18 missed tackles. I tweeted out the other day he only had 9.
Right. That was one of his missed tackles, and the term missed tackle I don't think does that play justice.
Generous.
Yeah.
It's a generous term. So overall, 65.4 grade. It's about dead smack in the middle. Tackling grade of 41.7, which again has been the issue for Minka. Do the Steelers panic? Are they... well, I don't even know what panic means. I mean, do you just give up on the season? They're not giving up on the season.
You sit there in the building.
You got to go play football.
I mean, they have to be worried looking at how Rudolph played last week. They, however reasonable he looked the week before, and it's like, okay, we can get through this. He'll develop as the year goes. We'll get better. We'll be okay. He was bad last week. Like he would, last week would have eroded any confidence whatsoever you had in him being the guy going forward. Now, it's not saying he can't bounce back, but you cannot be confident in him anymore.
All right. Just to wrap this thought up really quickly, how much do we put into so the 49ers defense have the number 2 coverage grade in the NFL so far. They played Tampa Bay. They played the Steelers there with Rudolph, who they played week 2. Now I just lost my train of thought with the 49ers. Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So is it because they played Jameis, Dalton in a new scheme, and Rudolph? We always say that the defense is dictated by the offense. Or are we going to look back at this and say, well, it was tough because the Niners' coverage unit's been much improved?
I think the 49ers generally, to me, are still a I don't know team. I don't have the answer to that yet. We just need to wait and see.
Oh, great. So there you have it.
Thanks. It's great content.
Great content. Wait and see, guys, on the 49ers.
So I want to answer this one question quickly, and then the other thing I want to do is we have this live chat going. I've decided that we should integrate that into the show. So we'll do that right at the end.
Let me pull that up.
This question, I have a thing I want to talk about already. You don't even need to worry yourself, Steve. I got it. I'm under control.
Just take it from here.
So we got a question from Dave Fortenbaugh, maybe?
Yeah.
Our play is graded by PFF with any kind of weighting system based on the effect the play has on the game. I'm thinking the sort of the I don't even understand that sentence.
Late
that is,
game
does
type of
PFF tag play with down, distance, yard, yada. So down and distance, what kind of impact does that kind of stuff have on grades?
So down and distance has an impact on, like picking up a first down is more valuable than picking up 8 on 1st and 10. So I would say down and distance only has value in that the offense is trying to achieve first downs and the defense is trying to stop that.
Yeah.
So that has an impact on how we grade.
We do situational football is important.
Situational football is important.
So we grade things according to the situation.
However, in isolation, a 10-yard out on 1st and 10 is not different from a 10-yard out on 3rd and 10, all other things being equal.
But even on like the offensive line, say, the same block will have a bigger impact if it's 3rd and 1. You generate enough movement to get the running back through that gap than it does on, 1st and 10, where you essentially there's no gap at the line, right? The running back plows into that, gets half a yard. It's a failure on, 2nd and 5, but on 3rd and 1, that's enough to get that guy the first down. It could potentially get you a positive for that crease.
Yeah, so we're isolating the player as much as possible. And then, yes, we're not just like, well, Daniel Jones game-winning touchdown, let's make it a +2 just because it was a game winner. We give some late-game adjustments here and there. The context comes in when you go back and say, okay, what was Russell Wilson's grade in the 4th quarter, which is really, really high all the time? What was Tom Brady's grade on 3rd down rather than inflating the 3rd down? The context comes from when you break the grade up by situation.
So can I now dive into the chat room and give you some insights? So Fresh Stacks 228 says,
okay,
you guys have been wrong on more than half the games. The bald guy acts arrogant and says some of the most rude comments. His job needs criticism. He sucks. So first point I would make.
I'll criticize you.
You do. First point I would make is we haven't been wrong on more than half the games. I'm like 30 and whatever it is on the record.
65%.
Right, I saw the record. The next guy replies, this is Super Guy, I assume that's supposed to be pronounced. Sam is only 80% bald. Don't disrespect him like that.
80% bald. I mean, you're 80% hair right now, I'd say.
I mean, I think that's what the point he was making.
Oh, okay.
Like you're an 80% of a full head of hair.
Yeah, once you get to like real 80% bald, like just make it 100.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I'm 80% bald or 80% hair, whatever way you want to put it. I'm already on the borderline of taking it all off. Like I'm already right there. Like it's not good.
Why do people? So this says Shannon has 0 clue about PFF grade.
He meant Skip and Shannon.
Yeah, I'm over there like poor Shannon Ford over here.
I was like, what did Shannon do?
No, she's new to the company.
It turns out it was Shannon
Skip
Sharp.
and Shannon.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.